好修炼，你给是不给？师兄也是为你好，你实力不够。
出现在原始星，无疑会被当成。你如果以人类身份，
放下这件至宝，
移动宝库。
不死不休。那便如你们所愿。
Hello everyone, welcome to the Alrodsta channel. Here, I will share spoilers for SwallowedStar episode 214. Remember, this is based on the novel, so it won't be 100% similar to the Donghua version. Okay, without further ado, let's dive right into the story. After Luofeng climbed the palace stairs, the atmosphere inside suddenly changed drastically as an overwhelming cosmic power enveloped the entire area. The Flame Emperor finally appeared in the form of a giant, scaled being, radiating pure arrogance from the depths of his soul. He then brought Luofeng into the main hall to begin a serious discussion between two disciples of the same master. During the meeting, the Flame Emperor acted like a wise older brother, giving various pieces of advice so that Luofeng would stay humble and train diligently. But behind his sweet words, he actually felt threatened by Luofeng's potential, as he was predicted to own the Star Tower in the future. He kept emphasizing that Luofeng's success was just due to luck and their master's backing, not purely because of his own actual abilities. The tension reached its peak when Luofeng bluntly demanded the Flame Emperor to keep his promise and hand over the Force Armor, just as their master had instructed. Hearing that request, the Flame Emperor immediately dodged the issue, making up the excuse that Luofeng was still too weak to control such a powerful treasure. Under the guise of safety, he refused to give the armor and told Luofeng to come back once he reached the universe Venerable level. A sly excuse so he could keep hogging the legendary weapon for a little longer. Hearing that, Luofeng's anger hit the roof, feeling like he was constantly being played. As far as he was concerned, whether he could use or risk losing the Force Armor was his own responsibility, not the Flame Emperor's business. Even though his emotions were boiling over, he tried hard to hold back and keep his cool in front of his senior martial brother, who kept making excuses that delaying the armor was for Luofeng's own good and safety. The Flame Emperor tried to pressure Luofeng mentally with his terrifyingly powerful aura, hoping his junior would chicken out and back down on his own. However, he underestimated Luofeng's iron will, which was already mentally on par with the Universe Overlord, so the sonic and aura pressure didn't affect him at all. Seeing that the argument was going nowhere, Luofeng directly threw out a sharp question. Was his senior brother really planning to disobey their master's orders? Realizing that arguing was just a waste of time, Luofeng made a bold move by deciding to just leave and report the issue straight to their master. This bluff proved to be super effective because the Flame Emperor didn't dare to openly defy the master's commands. If Luofeng gave up willingly, that'd be fine, but if he snitched, the Flame Emperor would be in massive trouble. Finally, with his back against the wall, he stopped Luofeng and gave in. With a heavy heart, the Flame Emperor finally took out the Force Armor from his palm, sparkling beautifully like a diamond. This armor was a top-tier treasure that he actually wanted to keep for himself forever, but now he was forced to hand it over to its rightful owner. As soon as it changed hands, Luofeng immediately imprinted his life mark on it and felt a flood of ancient information rushing into his mind before finally storing the treasure in his world ring. Luofeng, eager to make the most of his time, swiftly bid farewell and teleported out of the isolated palace area. He knew very well that staying in the territory of the Flame God races, so he immediately used his slave's help to perform a God country transportation. In the blink of an eye, Luofeng vanished from the Flame Emperor's reach and returned to human territory, feeling totally relieved that he had managed to get what was rightfully his. On the palace balcony, the Flame Emperor could only watch his junior leave with a mixed feeling of hidden hatred and respect. He started reflecting on his own ambition to break through his limits and become a true god so he could be on the same level as Zuo Shanqi. To him, only with that kind of absolute power could he truly be free to rule the universe without ever having to bow down to anyone's orders or feel threatened by the rise of a new genius, like Luofeng. Upon arriving at a safe spot in the Gonwu Universe country territory, Luofeng's Mosha body quickly flew toward his unimaginably vast personal god country. There, he finally tried putting on the Force Armor and felt its power blend perfectly with every muscle fiber and organ in his body. Amazed by the insane physical power boost granted by his master's masterpiece, Luofeng then summoned his golden horned beast to test out the armor and push their new combat power to the limit. After that, Luofeng immediately geared up for his next adventure. Before jumping into the original Star battlefield, he took some time to visit his teacher, Master Zhen Yan, on Thunder Island in the virtual universe. There he found a gathering of universe venerables busy partying and gossiping about the chaos happening on the original star, a place that had now turned into a slaughterhouse for powerful beings. One of the venerables, named Niu Zhou, shared a hot rumor about the appearance of a high-tier treasure called the Heavenly Gold Sail. This treasure triggered a bloody battle involving 3 universe masters and hundreds of other universe venerables inside an ancient palace. The tragedy ended with half of the people who entered ending up dead, proving that the original star was no playground but rather a life and death competition that could even cost universe masters their lives over a single piece of treasure. Luofeng's arrival in the middle of the party immediately grabbed everyone's attention, especially after he declared his intention to enter the original star all by himself without a team. This decision instantly sparked objections from the senior venerables, who thought it was pretty much a suicide mission. They warned him that many senior venerables had already been killed, and going solo to such a dangerous place would only make Luofeng an easy target for other races jealous of his wealth. Venerable Niu Zhou even gave a grim prediction that Luofeng's survival chances were no more than 10%. Even though Luofeng had an amazing domain escape technique, his enemies would definitely have counterattacks ready to neutralize that ability the moment his location was exposed. In a lawless place like the original star, a leaked identity and location was a death sentence because universe overlords wouldn't hesitate to team up and eliminate a target they thought was loaded with treasures. Despite all the warnings, the kind-hearted Venerable Niu Zhou sent him an email containing super detailed data about everything that had happened on the original star over the past 100 years. Luofeng expressed his gratitude for the assistance, but he secretly planned to use his Mosha body's ability to completely alter his identity and aura. With a flawless disguise, he was confident that no one would recognize him as the Blade River King, allowing him to move freely without constantly being hunted down by enemies. Luofeng's main strength this time lay in the force armor he had just acquired, a unique treasure created by Zuo Shankei. Unlike other treasures that required a complex understanding of the laws, this armor relied purely on the user's divine body strength. The armor had 3 activation levels. The first level required 100 million times the strength of a world master, the second level required 100 billion times, and the third level required an astonishing 100 trillion times a world master's strength. The defense stats on this force armor were absolutely absurd, turning him into an invincible walking fortress. At its max level, the armor could weaken physical attacks down to 1 in 100,000 and soul attacks down to 1 in 10. While also delivering a massive attack power boost equal to 100 trillion times a World Master strength. With this god-tier protection, Luofeng was now ready to face even Universe Masters on the original star without a single ounce of fear. In the quietness of his palace on Thunder Island, Luofeng started putting together a solid strategy after studying the super detailed data about the original star. He knew very well that the place was a death zone where the law of the jungle ruled completely, so he couldn't just carelessly use his real human identity. To pull off his plan, Luofeng decided to mobilize his 3 other bodies toward the portal, but this time he was going to show up in a totally unexpected disguise. Just imagine, this time Luofeng used his Mosha body to shapeshift into a purple pupa beast, a gray-scaled humanoid creature with silver horns and a scorpion tail that looked incredibly bloodthirsty. Not only that, he also carried a miniaturized golden horned beast body on his shoulder to add an authentic touch. By hiding his remote ocean body inside his world ring, Luofeng emitted an aura that was truly on par with that of a super strong and intimidating senior universe venerable. Luofeng's 80,000 years of preparation in creating his pinnacle techniques really paid off, especially his mastery of the deities of the world and beast god transformation techniques, which are advanced methods for enhancing one's abilities and transforming into powerful forms. Thanks to that long training, his golden horned beast body now had a power amplification of up to 90 times when using the strengthen technique. This disguise was pure genius because he chose the identity of a Space Beast Alliance member, a mysterious group that usually avoided territorial conflicts and rarely showed their faces in the universe. He went with this strategy because Luofeng knew his human identity was a magnet for treasure hunters from various other races who were thirsty for the life of the Blade River Kingpace beast. He wouldn't draw too much negative attention, and enemies would think twice before jumping him. For him, disguising himself as a member of one of the universe's 9 neutral major powers was the best way to enter the battlefield without getting ganged up on right from the start. And so the journey began, heading toward a giant vortex 6 billion miles in diameter that served as a portal to the original star. The pressure around this portal was unbelievably strong, enough to crush an ordinary Immortal level fighter who dared to get close. As soon as Luofeng leaped into the vortex, he immediately felt the sensation of distorted space, until he finally landed on the surface of one of the 10,081 legendary original stars. The conditions on the original star turned out to be extremely harsh, with gravity and pressure way heavier than any neutron star. Here, space ripples were completely frozen, so God Country transportation couldn't be used, forcing all the powerful fighters to travel manually. Even though his Mosha body was super tough, Luofeng had to burn some of his divine power just to fly at sublight speeds through the massive air resistance, heading toward the source of the treasure energy he was sensing. It didn't take long for Luofeng to stumble upon his first conflict, where he watched 5 universe Venerables from the demon race and the 9 territory alliance fighting over something. Luofeng's arrival in his space beast form instantly put the fighters and onlookers from various alliances like the prison race and crystal race on high alert. Interestingly, even the notoriously tough demon race members chose to quickly back off as soon as they saw a member of the Space Beast Alliance, proving that Luofeng's disguise was having the exact intimidating effect he hoped for. After the battle between the demon race and the 9 territory alliance wrapped up, the crowd of onlookers quietly dispersed. Luofeng, still disguised as the purple pupa beast with the golden horned beast on his shoulder, realized that the great beings on the original star were incredibly cautious. They wouldn't act recklessly unless a true treasure popped up with clear energy signatures. Without the aura of a true treasure, most of them preferred to hide and watch from a distance to keep themselves safe. Luofeng started studying the unique geography of the place, where there were 10,081 whirlpool portals connecting every star to one another at random. He decided to follow the advice of Venerable Niu Zhou around aimlessly, and instead camp out in one spot while waiting for a treasure signal to appear. He ended up landing in an ancient forest that was beautiful but deadly, where every plant and rock had insane durability because they were fused with the core of the original star. Out of pure curiosity about the planet's strength, Luofeng tried kicking a giant tree, but it was actually him who got sent flying back while the tree didn't even budge. He even tried smashing the ground with his divine power, but the hole he made quickly healed and sealed itself back up in no time. This proved that anything fused with the original star couldn't possibly be taken by force, except for foreign objects that were destined to spawn as treasures for the fighters. A miracle happened while Luofeng was just taking a casual stroll through the forest, and suddenly, his foot hit something hard under the mud. Unexpectedly, he found a square silver object buried in the dirt. After cleaning it off with his divine power, the object turned out to be a super valuable seal-type treasure similar to a sealed star. This whole incident cracked him up, making him feel incredibly lucky to score a treasure just by tripping over it while out on a walk. But hey, that kind of luck doesn't happen every day. Over the next 2 years, Luofeng only managed to collect 2 ordinary treasures, even though he stayed on high alert. During that time, his reputation as a Space Beast Alliance member started getting known by the other races, so a lot of powerful fighters chose not to pick a bone with him. His disguise proved to be super effective at shielding him from the heated conflicts constantly breaking out among the 4 pinnacle races: humanity, demons, automatons, and bug soldiers. Luofeng noticed that the hatred between these pinnacle races was deeply ingrained over millions of years, far beyond anything he felt as a young individual. On the original star, the slightest opening would guarantee a bloody battle breaking out among them. Even though he got a bit bored from not being involved in any major fights for 2 years, Luofeng stayed sharp and kept honing his instincts to sense the energy vibrations of any treasures nearby. That wait finally came to an end when an incredibly strong burst of energy suddenly exploded and swept in his direction. Luofeng immediately realized that this was the sign of a series of treasure spawning, or maybe even an ordinary true treasure, and it was pretty close by. Without wasting a moment, he immediately ignited his divine power and raced towards the source of the aura. But he wasn't the only one. Teams from the prison race and other powerful factions also started moving fast to fight over the exact same loot. Luofeng zoomed at top speed toward the massive energy source, feeling a mix of excitement that a high-tier treasure was right in front of him, but also staying cautious because a bloody battle was bound to happen. Upon arriving at a mysterious swamp, he found a black sword hilt sticking out of the water, which was confirmed to be a pure true treasure. Since he was the first one on the scene, he felt like he had the upper hand, but that joy was put on hold when he realized the treasure hadn't fully spawned yet and was still fused with the swamp environment, forcing him to wait on standby. At that critical moment, 3 Venerables from the prison race arrived on the scene, consisting of a magma rock giant and 2 12-winged beings who immediately got greedy when they saw the treasure. They threatened Luofeng to either pack up and leave or face death, but Luofeng wasn't fazed in the slightest by their intimidation. Instead of running, he put on a terrifying show of force by expanding his remote ocean and golden horn beast bodies until they reached thousands of miles in size, making his 3 enemies look as tiny as ants beneath the giant's feet. The 3 prison race fighters were momentarily shocked to see Luofeng's absurd body size, which was completely abnormal for typical purple pupa beasts and golden horn beasts. But, being senior universe Venerables, they quickly whipped up a plan to team up and gang attack both of Luofeng's bodies to snatch the highly coveted black sword. They knew that fighting giant-sized creatures on the original star would seriously drain their energy, but the temptation of a true treasure was just too huge to let go without a fight. Luofeng himself felt extremely confident because he was no longer the weak fighter who could be looked down upon, like when he faced Venerable Xihua in the past. He now stood on equal footing with the mighty beings of the universe and felt totally capable of taking on the challenge of 3 senior Venerables all at once. His primary focus remained on safeguarding the black sword, which was gradually emerging from the swamp's surface, ensuring that no enemy could touch the treasure before its birthing process was complete. The battle finally kicked off when Luofeng activated one of his trump cards, the Golden Thread Aurora Mirror, an extremely rare and powerful domain-type treasure. Instantly, an area covering tens of millions of square miles was blanketed by a dense, blinding golden light that worked to suppress his enemies' movements. The prison race Venerables immediately panicked, realizing they were up against a user with a high-tier domain treasure that had power equivalent to a standard domain-type true treasure. The golden horn beast immediately swung into brutal action, flapping its Shiwu wings that stretched for tens of thousands of miles to slash at the magma rock giant trying to get close. Using the Bright Moon Policy technique, which had been upgraded into pinnacle techniques, every strike of his wings now carried destructive power many times stronger than the original version. Even though his understanding of the beast god conception wasn't perfect yet, his divine body strength and his universe venerable level amplification were more than enough to overwhelm his opponents. On the flip side, Luofeng's remote ocean body didn't just sit idly by. It immediately unleashed the deadly star diagram technique under the influence of his burning divine power. Thousands of shadows burst from his chest, forming a giant beast god phantom that roared and charged at the 2 prison race Venerables at breakneck speed. With a combo of brutal physical attacks from 2 different bodies and the suffocating domain pressure, Luofeng fought tooth and nail to make sure the black sword in the swamp fell into his hands. The fight in the original star swamp heated up as the prison race magma giant swung its hammer with star-shattering force. That brutal attack should have been enough to smash a black hole, but Luofeng's golden horned beast agilely parried it using the Shiwu wings. Even though the rot giant kept throwing a tantrum, it struggled to move freely due to the pressure from Luofeng's golden light domain, getting knocked back over and over again by the massive golden wing strikes. Meanwhile, the remote ocean body stood firm like a guardian pillar in front of the birthing black sword. It controlled the beast god projection, which moved as fast as a ghost, to fend off the 2 winged Venerables trying to approach. The projection acted as a highly efficient area guard. Every time the prison race Venerables tried to sneak in, they were instantly knocked back, leaving them frustrated because they just couldn't break through Luofeng's rock-solid defense. The situation got even more complicated when 2 new groups showed up at the battlefield. 3 Venerables from the Northern Territory Alliance, and 2 Venerables from the Hongmeng Alliance. Their arrival made the atmosphere incredibly tense, because now there were 8 senior Venerables all gunning for the Black Sword. Luofeng realized that his fake identity as a Space Beast Alliance member made the Hongmeng Alliance team, which was actually his own alliance, see him as a rival that needed to be taken out to get the loot. The final seconds of the Black Sword's birth felt agonizingly slow to Luofeng. who was starting to get anxious about the sheer number of enemies surrounding him. He understood that he only needed to endure a little longer until the sword completely emerged from the swamp water to claim ownership. Even though he was surrounded by heavy hitters, Luofeng kept both of his bodies positioned right above the treasure, ready to risk it all to protect the precious asset that was just about to be born. Seeing their window of opportunity closing, the 8 Venerables from the various alliances finally decided to launch a coordinated attack all at once. Facing this mass assault, the Golden Horned Beast pulled an extreme move by spreading its golden wings until they stretched over 100,000 miles wide. The giant wings covered the entire area around the black sword like an impenetrable protective dome, forcing anyone who wanted the sword to have to break through the wings first. The combined attack from the 8 senior Venerables unleashed an explosive force equivalent to a Universe Overlord's strike. However, the combo of the Shiwu wings and the force armor allowed the Golden Horned Beast's body to stay standing tall like an unshakable mountain. The attackers were left dumbfounded by Luofeng's completely illogical defense, as their lethal strikes couldn't even scratch or budge the protective wings covering the treasure. Just as the enemy's attack died down, the black sword finally fully emerged from the bottom of the swamp and hovered in the air. Without wasting a single millisecond, Luofeng immediately channeled his divine power into the sword to carve his consciousness mark into it. With one swift motion, the ownership recognition process was complete, and the black sword officially became Luofeng's, marking his huge victory against an 8-on-1 gang-up of senior Venerables on the original star. After successfully claiming the black sword, Luofeng actually found himself super confused because no information or secret techniques popped into his mind. By right, according to the laws of nature on the original star, every newly born treasure was supposed to automatically give its new owner a user manual. Amidst this massive question mark, he still had to stay focused on dealing with the onslaught of the 8 senior Venerables who kept relentlessly attacking his Golden Horned Beast's wings. Realizing that the treasure was already legally Luofeng's, the 8 Venerables from the various alliances finally decided to retreat with deep disappointment. They knew that with the Golden Horned Beast's body size reaching 6,000 miles, it would be downright impossible to kill him before their own divine power was completely drained. Luofeng then used that moment to quickly shrink his body down and zip away from the swamp at top speed, leaving the newcomers to just bite their fingers as they watched the treasure get carried off. But behind Luofeng's getaway, a massive secret started to unfold to the sharp observation of one of the Northern Territory Alliance Venerables. The purple metal Venerable realized that the black sword Luofeng snagged wasn't just some ordinary treasure, but actually one of the components of the Sword River Luo. The Sword River Luo was a legendary treasure set consisting of a compass and 9 divine swords that, when put together, would form an incredibly deadly Sword River domain with power equivalent to a top Arcana treasure or a top-tier true treasure. The news about the discovery of the Sword River Luo component immediately reached the ears of the Northern Territory Alliance higher-ups through Venerable 100 Raccoon's report. The Alliance buzzed with excitement over this treasure, one of the most coveted items in the last century since the original star opened. Wasting no time, the Alliance immediately dispatched their Universe Masters and a powerhouse named Fu Mo Master to head straight to the coordinates of the 2 space beasts to snatch the divine sword back. This info didn't just circulate within one alliance. It also spread like wildfire in the virtual universe, especially in the open-air bar where the Hongmeng Alliance members hung out. A bald Venerable showed off a photo of the sword to everyone, triggering a massive uproar about the whereabouts of the Sword River Luo Divine Sword. All the mighty beings there felt jealous and amazed, realizing that whoever managed to collect the complete set of this treasure would become a highly feared figure across the entire universe. Meanwhile, Luofeng, who still had no idea why his sword was acting mute, decided to log into the virtual universe looking for answers. He planned to meet his friend, Venerable New Zhou, to consult him about the anomaly of a treasure that didn't provide any information. He was hoping to get some enlightenment from the vast information database the Venerable had so he could quickly activate the true power of the black sword he had just risked his life fighting for. The tension spiked even higher as Luofeng walked toward the bar and saw the bald Venerable who had previously attacked him showing off a photo of his sword. He started to realize that his disguise as a Space Beast Alliance member might have successfully shielded him from direct attacks, but the identity of the treasure he was carrying had now made him public enemy number 1. With the whole universe now hunting for the Sword River Luofeng had to brace himself for a wave of attacks that would be far more dangerous than anything before. So what happens next? Let's wait and see in the next video, guys. Okay, thank you for watching until the end, and don't forget to support this channel with likes, subscribe, and comments. That's all from me. Bye.
你如果以人类身份
放下这件至宝！
移动保护，
不死不休。那便如你们所愿。